Today we're going to take a look at the brand new Echelon 4.0C, the compact version of the Echelon, and going over if it is worth adding this to your collection. This is my first looks breakdown of the brand new compact Echelon, and this has all the exact same features as your full-size Echelon, except it's smaller. So there really isn't a lot to talk about between these two. If you know anything about the Echelon or you like the Echelon, you're gonna really like this. It's just a more compact size. It just gives you a different option for those of you that wanna carry one for outside the waistband. Maybe then you want the option of the same gun, but for concealed carry, because this might be a little bit too big for you. Now you can get the same style of gun, all the same features that you really like, just in a smaller size. Or for those of you that have never had an Echelon and you're looking at it for your first time, we're gonna break this down, go over which one's probably better for you, and we're gonna give you an update on the Echelon, how the gun itself has been doing. I now have 3 Echelons, so I can give you a really good update on how it's been running. Have I had any malfunctions? And if you are interested after this video, you can take a look at my full Echelon video that I already have posted there. But we're gonna quickly go over this one, and then we'll give you the update on the Echelon itself and decide, is this a good gun to add to your collection or which one you should go with as a first-time buyer. Before we do that, let's get into my relationship with Springfield. They did send me this gun pre-release, so I did not spend my own money on it, but I appreciate them for doing that because I was able to get rounds through this before it actually got released, so I can get this video out to you guys as early as possible so you can make a better purchase decision on this when it gets released. The companies that are incredibly nice are Brownells, Shooting Targets USA. Thank you all for being so nice. Brownells, I cannot thank them enough for everything they do. Make sure you guys go to tacticaladvisor.net to see more there, and you're not gonna regret going there and checking that out. And Shooting Targets USA, they are the target brand that I've been outfitting my range with. Thank you to both these guys. I could not do what I'm doing here without them. Let's get back into the video. So I personally really like the Echelon series. I think this is an incredible upgrade to the XD. If you guys have followed me for a while, you know I absolutely hate the XD. I have one of them, and that is the only one I'll probably ever own. I am not a fan of the XD series. When they came out with the Echelon, I was incredibly happy because I think they really have a good setup with this. These guns have been functioning really well for me. I've had really good success with them. Trigger out of the box is nice. You've got a lot of really good functional slide cuts. You've got almost like these large cuts on the sides that are almost like a charging handle up here in the back, which is what I call it, because it's like an AR-15 where you can charge it from the back. And I think that's a really nice addition because you have that area there. Why not cut it a little bit deeper and give you something more to work with? They have nice aggressive slide cuts on front and the sides there, and they have an optics cut system that's incredibly unique. So you can actually put up to 30 different optics on the same cut. So this is the exact same cut, nothing different other than I just took the little pins that they have in there and put them in different positions, and I'm able to put a Trijicon RMR HD. I'm able to put a Vortex Defender, which have 2 different footprints on the exact same cut. You don't have to buy a plate. You don't have to get it cut for anything specific. You don't have to pick on their website and try to figure out which optics plate you have, which is a whole other video for another time because it drives me absolutely nuts. But with this, it is an incredible system that they added, and it's honestly something I think a lot of companies are probably going to be doing if they're not patented already and they can't use it, but it's something that people will probably go to because you can add so many optics to one cut. Now, if you're interested in watching my full thoughts on the Echelon, my original video, you can watch it here after this video is done, but let's finish this one while we're discussing it. You have this serialized control group that's in the middle, and now what's really unique and cool about that is the fact that your serialized part of the gun is not the lower. So you're able to actually change the lowers out. Now, I don't know this for a fact, but I think this is what's gonna happen in the future with Springfield. I think you're gonna be able to change your setups easily because on the website, you'll be able to buy a larger grip, a smaller grip, a different slide, and you'll be able to customize it based off of your control group, and you won't have to buy a new gun to do that. So say I want a gun with a longer grip, so I want to have more capacity, but I really like a smaller slide. What you could do is just buy a longer grip, take this grip off, put the new grip on, and now you have basically essentially a new gun. And now that they have a compact and a full size, I think that's exactly where they're going to go, and you're going to see a lot more customization coming to their website soon. This is a 4-inch barrel, and it comes with a 15-round magazine that is flush fit, and then you have an extended mag that is an 18-round magazine, and all your other Echelon magazines will fit in this as well. They just stick out a little bit, so if you don't care about that, all your magazines that you currently have, you can use as backup mags, but if you want to conceal carry this or have a backup one that all sits pretty and looks good, then these are the 2, and that actually comes with the gun. The iron sights on this are the same as your other Springfield guns, and they're good. You have a tritium front sight post and a U cut on the back. Nothing fancy, nothing ridiculous that's gonna blow your mind, but I would rate it better than most iron sights out of the box. This does have ambidextrous control, so you have your slide stops, you have your magazine release, and I will say, actually, these slide stops and releases are some of the best on the market. Now, a lot of times, what people will have trouble with is when you have a high grip, you have an issue with running into that slide stop. Now, with this one, it's almost just a little ledge instead of a full piece that goes down. So when you have slide lock on your gun, it is incredibly easy to slap that down and have access to it. But at the same time, I don't find myself running my finger on it to prevent that slide from locking on the last round. So that has just been my experience. I really like it. Everybody's grips are a little bit different. So I hate to say like, you're never gonna have problems with this. You know, if your grip is obviously a little bit higher, you might, but in my experience, this gun, opposed to some other ones that I've tested where the release is a little bit lower and it sits where my thumb would sit, I have trouble with those locking back on the last round because my thumb impedes on that. Now that's a grip problem, not a gun problem. The gun still functions as it should, but with this gun, I just haven't noticed that nearly as much. These are currently going for $679 MSRP, so you're probably gonna see that pricing fluctuate depending where you're buying this from, but I think this is a great addition from Springfield. I'm really noticing a lot of what Springfield's doing. They're coming out with a lot of platforms. I mean, they've been getting a lot of new guns out here, and I like that. It's really cool to see, and it's not like they're just churning out junk. Their new guns that they've released, I think personally have been really good. I like the Hellcat series. I like the Prodigy that they've done a lot of the fixes and now they're running good. I like the Echelon series. I think it's a really good gun, and they actually did some things that are different. They didn't just make another comparison to a Glock and like, okay, here's another one. Okay, you know, there's nothing really that different. You know, they added the optics system. They added that centralized serialized unit. I know SIG was doing that as well, but it's nice to see them doing some different things and looking outside the box instead of your traditional thing. Now, for those of you that are looking size-wise, obviously you're gonna be looking for size comparison. That's gonna be one of the biggest things with this because there's not a ton different. I've already showed you a bunch of B-roll of these side by side, but for those of you that are familiar with Glocks, and this is usually how I do that comparison just because most people are familiar with Glocks, they've held one probably at one point in their life because whenever someone's like, hey, I'm looking for my first gun, everyone's like, buy a Glock. And then they give you their Glock and they're like, this is the best gun ever created. Or I can't necessarily argue with that because I carry a Glock every single day to protect my life and I think it's a great gun. It's easy to compare it to. So this is more of your Glock 17, the full size. This is more of your Glock 19, the more compact. And then you have the subcompact with your Hellcats and so on and so forth. So for those of you that are looking for a really good comparison and maybe you're familiar with Glocks, that is the way I would compare that really well to help you make a better decision on which one you might want to go with. Now let's talk about you are a first-time buyer and you're looking to get an Echelon, which one should you get? That's gonna come down to what you're using this for. Now, if you're personally like, I wanna use this for home defense, I'm gonna go out to the range with it, probably use it on my duty belt, and I just want a really good gun that's not gonna give me any fits and maybe I can customize later down the road, then I would go with a full-size Echelon. It's gonna give you more capacity, a little bit larger frame of a gun. If you're like, I wanna do more concealed carry and I want a good gun for that, then I would definitely go with a compact. I think this is a better carry gun. Now, I have concealed carried this and I can do it mainly because I could still carry a Glock 45 with a Radian ramjet, so it's a Glock 17 size. So I carry this almost exact gun with a red dot and a Surefire X300, and I don't have a problem with it. I'm a smaller guy. It really just comes down to you and the holster and what you care about. But if you're really looking for primarily concealed carry and you don't want a bigger gun, but you really like the Echelon, then definitely the compact is going to be the choice for you. So now let's go over the update on the Echelon itself. Now I've got 3 of these now. I've got the first Echelon that I received, the comp version, and the compact version. Now I've got a sample size of 3, and I really like that because one thing I hate is getting a sample size of 1 and I have really good luck with it or really bad luck with it, and that's all I can base my opinion off of. When I have 3 of them, it really gives you an idea if something's really good or actually really bad, or maybe I just got a good one-off and the rest of them are bad, or vice versa. You know, it's a really good way to compare and decide and get a better opinion on this to be able to share with you guys. Now, I have had 0 malfunctions with this gun, and I've had 0 malfunctions with this gun. I've only had 300 rounds through this one and only about 100 rounds through this one, so I can't tell you that I put a ton of rounds through them. Now my previous Echelon, I have over 1,000 so far, and that gun has performed incredibly well. So me personally, I've been happy with the reliability of these guns and with the added additions that they put on this, like that optic system where you can add whatever optic you want. So you throw a hollow sun on here and you're like, man, I really want to upgrade because I really like the Vortex Defender. You can do it and you don't have to worry about spending more money on plate systems or figuring out how to make it work. Everything is there in the box that it comes with. Now these also come with adjustable back straps, so you can change out the back straps, and there's actually a tool inside the back strap to be able to work on your gun. So I think that's kind of cool. It's a little armor's tool inside there, and I think that's a nice addition. I think the grip texture is good, and that's something I forgot to mention when I was talking about it originally, so I just chucked it in there. But for me, I personally really like the compact because I have smaller hands. This gun fits just fine in my hand, but this gun fits a lot better, and I've been really satisfied with this down at the range shooting it. Now a lot of you might be asking, what in the world was that gun you were shooting? It's really cool looking. And you'd be right, it is really, really cool looking. Unfortunately, I can't tell you anything about it right now because it's pre-release. It has not been released yet at the time that this video is released. Now, what I will say is it releases in like 4 days. So when it is released, I'll link the video here so you guys can see it. But stay tuned to my channel if you're interested in that one. And that's a brand new gun that is getting released that you guys are really gonna like. And you can save a good amount of money if you watch that video and get one. So stay tuned for that one. And if you're here 4 days after this is released, you'll be able to see that link there and you can watch that after this video. So I hope this video is able to help you make a better purchase decision. That's always my goal, to help you spend your money in the best way possible. Now, if you guys are looking to help out the channel, things I do here more, there's a couple ways to do that at my website, tacticalvisor.net. That is the best way you can do it. Going there, perusing, and that is a giant support for the channel. I appreciate that. Hauser Clothing donates 5% of proceeds to charity. There's a link to the Tactical Advisor shirt if you guys are interested. But other than that, guys, thank you so much, and I appreciate you all.